Hello, my name is Kim Addis. I am the president and founder of Frame of Mind Coaching, and you have just joined the Frame of Mind Coaching podcast, where we invite leaders from all over the world to join us and get coached live and in person right on the podcast. Today, I am actually not just excited, I'm thrilled. I'm over the top excited to introduce to you my guest. His name is John Lettieri from Hero Certified Burgers. John, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here today.
So you're in Toronto.
I'm in Toronto.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, how you do it. You're the president and CEO. Like, what does that mean? How did you get into the burger business?
So we are retailers. We've been in the food business, our family, for a long, long time. I was in the Espresso bar business in Toronto. And after that, I transformed into the Better For You burger business. And we run a franchise model of 45 stores, one in New York City, one in Montreal, and the balance of that in Toronto. And we have Hero Certified Virtual Kitchens, or Hero Virtual Kitchens, which is where we sell our store. It's a sustainable program for existing restaurants, where we sell our food in bulk to existing restaurants, and they make the food according to the orders that come in through the aggregates or online. So you can have your restaurant that would cook our food for delivery, basically. So it's a sustainable program that adds extra sales to your business with no extra labor and no extra manpower and investment.
Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit of a story about burgers.
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 kids. And several years ago, one of the 5, his name is Michael, when he was 16 years old, he was diagnosed with cancer. He had Ewing sarcoma. He had this big bump that grew on his head. At first, we thought it was just like a cyst that could get removed, but it turned out to be cancerous. And he ended up at Sick Kids Hospital for about 8.5 months. And every 2 weeks, he was 16, turning 17, in that age range.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks, we took him to the hospital for treatment. On week 1, he'd stay for 5 days for his chemo treatments. 2 weeks later, 2 days. So 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. And we went through the cycle together. On the last day, which was March 26th, almost 8 years ago, we were driving home from the hospital. And you need to understand that during his chemo treatments, he really didn't have much of an appetite because he had a metallic taste in his mouth. And he, wasn't enjoying food, wasn't enjoying anything. There's nothing that you want more than to see him eat, right? So on the last day, when we were driving home from the hospital, I said, "Hey, Michael, are you hungry?" He said, "Yes." I said, "You want to stop off and get a bite to eat?" He said, "Yes." I said, "What are you in the mood for?" He said, "I want a burger." I said,
Wow.
"Great, let's go get a burger." And on the 26th, that very day, he decided that on the 26th of every month was Burgerversary. It was a day once a month to celebrate his survival, his good health, his well-being. So since that day, 8 years ago, every month on the 26th, we go out and celebrate Burgerversary. Last month, we ordered from Hero Burgers, Hero Certified Burgers.
Wow, that's a special story, man.
Good story,
How's he
right?
doing? How's he doing?
He's amazing. He's amazing. He's fantastic.
Wow.
So I wanted to share that with you because it's a very personal story. Every month we post on Facebook a picture of the family eating a burger somewhere in the world, and people have been following us on this story really for years. So
what's the Facebook page?
Oh, my husband puts it up on his Facebook page. His name is Alan Friedman, Allan Friedman, Friedman. Every month he posts a Burgerversary picture. Proud dad.
So we have to have him in one of the stores, and he's our hero, really.
Well, we're coming
he's the family hero.
He's a family hero. So I'll tell you something. We're coming up to soon in March. We're going to be at Burgerversary number 100, and we plan to turn that into some kind of a massive celebration.
Oh, we would love to participate. Are you in Toronto?
Yeah, we're in Thornhill.
Well, we got to make that happen.
Okay, we'll make that happen.
You have my information. Let's make that happen.
I have your information now. But let's get back to our podcast. I just wanted to share that with you, which is why I was so excited to talk to you today. Just to share that story, because it's been, burgers play a huge role in our family, huge, and they have become very meaningful. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about you. When you think about growing a business, like what kind of challenges have you encountered over time? And more specifically, what is the challenge that you would like to share with us today?
So there's all kinds of challenges being an entrepreneur, and challenging, and competing with the big boys, and trying to claim your fame in the marketplace and positioning yourself. And you really only can do it with a good team. And the challenge is maybe not the knowledge, because the team has an immense wealth of knowledge about the business. It's sometimes having them to register where your thinking is at, right? Because as an entrepreneur, you're always kind of thinking around the corner without getting there, right? You always want to kind of go around the corner, so when everybody comes around, it's coast clear and you know what to expect at the other end. So that's been a little bit of and not that it's bad. It's probably an adjustment on my part to keep myself not focused, but clear on that the team is able to follow through on the steps needed to make the changes. Example, this whole virtual kitchen, and it was really something that was not really understood. I saw it clear as day, but it took time for the team to kind of really wrap their head around it. Now that it's a proven concept, and COVID's come around, and so it's kind of accelerated that. So that's kind of one challenge. The other challenge, I think, is the marketplace. There's a wide range of demographics. There's old, there's new, there's people that have the means, that don't have the means. There's the younger generation. What was good for one group of people is not cool for another group of people. So how do you kind of homogenize your brand that it kind of satisfies it? Predominantly by food. So is it the food? Is it the protein space? Is it the plant-based that gets the seafood area that gets the older people that are
right.
So.
Okay, so there's two challenges on the table, and I want to kind of just define the first one a little bit better. Are you saying that the challenge is, hey, I had a clear strategy, I had a clear vision of how we needed to move forward, but the people around me didn't understand, didn't mobilize as fast as I would have liked, didn't pick up my vision clearly enough?
You know what? I don't know if it's picked up enough, or that sometimes these initiatives are done by myself prior to passing on the baton, because they're busy doing something, not that they're waiting around. All of a sudden something new comes on their plate. How does it fit into their pasture, let's call it,
right,
or their field of foods, to say, okay, how does this work in my life? Because it's been like this for forever, and now we're going here. So it's been a little bit of maybe an adjustment on my part on, let me take the lead on it. Let me anchor this whole thing. Let me carry the burden until it becomes something that is understood more as a system, right? So the idea becomes
So again, I'm just trying to understand the actual challenge. I'm trying to define it a little bit. So are you saying that this was a good case, right? COVID was a good case. This was a situation where you took it on, and then suddenly they had to, you had to pass it on to them, and that was a little bumpy? Was that the challenge? Or is it, hey, I should have taken it on, I didn't, I was hoping that they would do it, but they were busy with their life?
Yeah, no, I think it's that when I passed it on, the clear understanding on where it's going to take us,
Okay, got it.
So it's not really a deficiency. It's more of an understanding, or
Okay,
how does it, like I said, fit in their pasture.
okay. So it's very interesting because I have experienced a lot of leaders who are front runners who walk and ride way ahead of the pack. And it sounds like to some degree you're that guy. You're that guy who thinks like miles ahead of someone else. You have the vision, you have the picture, you're off in your own space, thinking, planning, scheming, whatever it is to make things happen. And then you're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. And people don't understand what you're saying. They can't catch up with your vision. And then things get a little rocky, a little more difficult. They aren't going as smoothly. And in your case, my greatest recommendation is to not actually think in isolation, because that's what's happening right now. You go, you think, you conceptualize, you conceive, and then you're like, here's where we're going. And and then they're having trouble catching up to that vision. So my really strong guidance here is to say you might have a vision, you might have an idea, but before hitting the go button, you want to bring people into the discussion, the planning process, the conceiving process.
Well, that happens on the higher level, on the development end of it, on the operational end, the follow through, right? The low hanging grapes, the
But
hardworking effort that comes on.
yes, but that's when they might want to be in the conversation as well, because
Right.
they're perhaps more frontline and taking into consideration other things, but also because they're part of the discussion, it becomes easier to take that vision and all the nuts and bolts that go with it and actually run and implement it. So I see a divide between thought and action,
Right.
right? And what you want to do is you want to integrate or mesh the two a little bit sooner in the process. It's not to say that they have
Well,
to be part of the brainstorming, the initiation, but they definitely have to be brought in earlier on so that not only they're doing what you want them to do, but it's also conceivably part of their idea. When it's my idea, I want to make it happen more faster rather than when someone tells me, here's the idea I want you to do. So there's
right.
a concept of incorporating them into the thought process, into the implementation process significantly earlier on than what you are currently doing.
That way they get to understand the picture from the beginning, and then they start to, as we feed it on more information to them, they get it from the inception.
They get
Yep.
to understand it earlier on. They also get buy-in earlier on, and they also get to contribute earlier on, which makes it their idea that they come back and implement rather than the idea that has been handed to them that they're like, I don't know what they want from me.
Yeah. Well, it's been a combination of both, but that would have definitely helped at the beginning for sure.
Now you talked about your second challenge, and I kind of had a knee-jerk reaction when you discussed your second challenge and used the word homogenize. Again, years of experience coaching entrepreneurs, leaders, like CEOs and senior suite of massive companies. One of the things that I've learned over time is that when we try to homogenize, our brand gets diluted.
Explain that.
When we try to serve all needs, then what we're known for, our key success factor, becomes unidentifiable.
Right. It loses the essence.
Exactly. So rather than try to go for homogeneity, I don't know if that's a word, but rather than going for trying to homogenize your brand and serving all needs, the real question becomes, who are we? What are our values? And who is the market? Who is truly the market we are trying to serve? And how do we
Well, the
do
market,
that the best?
sure. Yeah, I agree.
Because if we don't pick, if we're not really laser focused on our market, then we do none of it very, very well.
Yeah, that's but then how do you So the challenge is, especially now with the COVID situation, it's the same food, it's the same customer, but the behavior's changed, right? So do you use your brand equity to accommodate? Like, people are at home now.
Yep.
People are eating at 2 o'clock in the morning more than they ever have.
Yep.
It's the same customer, same person, it's the same food. Do you add, so it's not necessarily the offering that changes, it's actually the behavior of the consumer that's changed. So how do you know, with your product offering, needs to change according to their time of day eatings.
Yeah. So you win when you truly demonstrate understanding, affinity, congruence, alignment with your market. And so if their behaviors have changed and that's still your market, that's still your consumer, then you need to figure out how to serve them
Right.
and
Right. So
demonstrate that alignment.
right. So when I say homogenized, I don't necessarily want to standardize right across the board, but the menu offering, you know, um, I guess maybe homogenizing is not even the right word, but the menu offering changes to the palate. So would you recommend, if I wanted to go into the chicken business, let's say the fried chicken business, would I change the name and create the brand? Or do you slowly, gravitate the consumer to understand that Hero Certified is a food company and wants to go into that direction? Like,
Well, let me ask you a question. How do you think people know you right now?
well, this is a burger place.
That's what they
Let,
know you
let,
as.
so let me tell you, Kraft made cheese slices, but they're a food company, and people thought of them as a Kraft slice company. But as time went on, Kraft is considered a food company. So they're a General Mills, whereas before they were a processed cheese slice, Kraft slices, Kraft slices.
Sure.
That's my demographics. You're almost to the same thing as ketchup. So there's a certain demographics that won't put anything on their ketchup except Heinz.
Right.
Well, hey, that Heinz had that whole situation, so they went to French's, and outside of French's, they went for Better For You, and Good For You ketchup, and all these different things. So you got to kind of trend. You got to, you've been around for 17 years. So the guy that was 2 is 19, and the guy that was 50 is 67.
Yes.
So you are that, and that's what they perceive you to be. You know, you know,
So for me, the more interesting question is, how do we demonstrate an understanding through media, through messaging, that the client that we know and love, the client that loves Hero Certified Burgers, is also that we get them so much, that we get them so well, that we want to serve them, that they are like the people we know and love more than anyone else, that they also would benefit from fried chicken, that they also want fried chicken. And so it's that coupling effect, but really demonstrating knowledge and understanding of the client, the specific client, the avatar, the client that always comes to us instead of McDonald's. Right? So that's the challenge.
it is the challenge. And when I read into example, Starbucks didn't say the consumer wants a latte. Starbucks has said, hey, this is a latte, and this is what a latte consists of, and this is what we do. Now you look at them, are they a coffee company? Yeah, they are a coffee company, but they're a beverage company. I can buy their coffee cold at Starbucks. I can buy it bulk and as grocery.
Right.
I can buy food now, and I can buy their tea.
Right.
Right. So they use their forefront, but they branch out into, and I guess now it's what their customers asking for. But Starbucks is a clear example that it's not what you're asking for, it's what we're going to give you. You know, now they've identified themselves that way, and they have the power to shift whichever way they want. But you know, when I think of Starbucks, do I think of it as a coffee shop now, or is it more of a food company? Because I can get my snacks, I can get bars that are branded Starbucks, I can get, you know, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons a coffee shop, but I can go to Costco and buy a chili. I can buy a soup. I can buy a bar. I can buy cereal.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. I went to a friend's house and there was Tim Hortons cereal that is just flying off the roof. So they use that brand. And did they stay core to their business, or did they stay core, to your point, their customer?
So the question for you is your brand Hero Certified Burgers, or is your brand Hero Certified?
So this is what we're going through right now. So that's why it's Hero VK, right? So now slowly, not that I have the funds to do it like the big guys were, but I slowly put these seeds in there that, oh, now, hi, it's John from Hero VK, even though it's John from, you know, from Hero Certified. So we've started in, you know, putting into our world Hero Certified foods. So we're
Right.
starting to plug it in small places, not come as a forefront, because like I said, but it's slowly, I believe that we'll be able to resonate that one day that Hero Certified foods will ultimately be, well, they got chicken, you know, we do have it, like chicken, seafood, and pizza. We have these things right now. It's not on our forefront, it's only on our virtual world. And we've done this for the past 2 years, that you can get Hero Certified chicken, but only virtually,
Is the chicken eater the same eater as the burger eater?
Yep.
Okay.
It might even go into a little younger demographics. I don't know, you know, everyone's telling me to stop eating fried food, but nothing tastes better than fried, right? So, you know, I kind of look at where that whole, you know, I could have created a whole new brand of something fried chicken by, you know, by the Hero guys, or, you know, but it becomes, you know, it comes out of my store, it's a different name, you know, so.
Well, you're leveraging your existing name. You're leveraging your existing brand.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really just think like the more that you're able to define that market and serve that market with your brand, the better it is. So when you look at craft, you know, you mentioned craft, who's the market? It's probably the woman who shops for the house, who has price consciousness, who wants consistency, who wants something for her family oriented. So the definition of the consumer across brands is very consistent.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what so we just launched Lettieri Grocery. So we were in the espresso bar business, Lettieri Espresso Bar. And it was a thought to call it, you know, Hero Certified Grocery. But I said, that's not that's completely different, right? That's way out of there, right? So we, you know, we have Hero Foods within the Lettieri Grocery.com that delivers to the home, and we just launched last week, and it's going very good, and blah blah blah. But that's something that we were cautious about saying that's a different consumer, because that consumer not necessarily is going for fried chicken or seafood or pizza or going for their online bite or going to our restaurants.
I have one more question for you. Do you do any research to understand how the market reacts or responds to new ideas, or how to position some new products? Do you get that kind of market research?
You know what, we dig into, you know, the Tectonics and all those people out there to see what that research is. It comes down to my vision on where I see it going. And if, you know, if it can really be Hero Certified foods and under that umbrella, and I can get there, and like I said, it takes a lot of steps to cross the street. Patience is my forte, I think.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
I'm not a patient person, but in business you
You
have to be patient,
right.
right? You have to really kind of sit there and say, wait, it's going to take us time to make this passage happen, and that's fine. So what does it look like in 5 years? And
Yeah.
5 years goes by real quick, or 6 years. So that younger person that's 13 is now 18. He might be saying, hey, this is the best chicken he's ever had, and looks at Heroes differently,
Yeah.
right? It's when you become, and we're a little bit of a, we're just a regional player. We're not a big company in any sense of the word. So it doesn't hit the masses. It hits our local people and our demographics. Say, hey, you know what? They got chicken on the menu, and or I can order online. I can order my fried chicken from them. They're my burger guy. Let me try their chicken, and if that works, and it actually has been working pretty decently.
Yeah.
So would Hero want Hero VK? Why would people want to put Hero burgers in their back of the kitchen to make food for us to deliver when the orders come in, and not be a Hero burger store? Well, that goes against all the study, right? But somebody told me 17 years ago I was crazy selling a $10 burger that was hormone free and antibiotic free,
Right.
right?
But you were on the leading edge.
We're on leading edge. So it's a little bit of a sense of understanding what's around the corner and taking the risk to go do that.
Right.
And when I look at all the math and all the check marks, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Studies show, hey, I would never put my food in the hands of a guy that makes shawarma.
Right.
But in
It's
this
not a
day and
fit.
age, it's not a fit. But as far as the economics, if I can increase his business, and he runs a great business because we've qualified him, then I got a great guy that I would probably sell a franchise to. Well, don't worry about spending the money. I'm going to give you something that's no charge.
It's a completely different model. It's very interesting.
Right.
It's very interesting because you are um, making it easier to buy in and to get behind a new concept, a new name, a new product. And it's not
So,
that new. That's the whole
so,
thing. It has traction and it has reputation in certainly regionally.
so the question is, why not? It answers the three questions. You want to increase your business? You want to make more money with no extra labor? And you want to do minimum work to make that happen? Right? Once you answer those three questions, you get the why not? Well, why wouldn't I do it? Right. So
Right.
so that's how my business model works.
Yes.
Things are already in place. The brand exists, right? So it resonates across the board to say, hey, they don't just do that, they do all of this.
Right.
How we position that in the next 4 or 5 years is a real strategic way of doing it, and really patient and making
So
sure that,
so one
yeah,
more question before we wrap up. Is the concept Hero VK or is the concept Hero Certified?
the concept's Hero certified. The concept is Hero certified burgers. We have them on our list. You probably have ordered from them online and you don't even know it's not coming from a Hero burger. We do, if they want us to promote them, we do promote them, which means we will tell them, hey, go there and pick up. So if you want to go around the corner, so they can go pick up, the Portuguese chicken guy's making our burgers, or Jesse's Pizza's making our, and
We love
you know,
Portuguese chicken.
right, it's so good, huh?
Yeah.
Which one
Amazing.
do you go to?
Well,
What's your
actually,
favorite?
we talk about it here. Our the guy you see who is recording our episode is a huge fan of Portuguese chicken, and so he buys at least one chicken per week. So it's a running joke inside the family.
So good.
So good. John, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I hope you've had something to think about, something to take away from this conversation,
Definitely.
particularly with the process of bringing your team in a little earlier on in the conversation and making them part of the process, having them get some buy-in so that their implementation process is easier, smoother, and clearer. And for those of you who are listening, I hope you took something away. If you have a challenge that you want to share on the podcast, please reach out to me. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. If you have a challenge that you're not so willing to share on the podcast, but you do want to discuss, please reach out to me as well. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. John, thank you so much for spending this time with me.
Thank you very
It
much for
was
having
great
me.
to meet you.
pleasure meeting you, and great news about your son. This is a special conversation to have, and I'm glad you shared it with me.
Thank you.
Okay, all the best.